Hey, what's up, Loopers? Matt McCoy here. I'm the founder of loopcommunity.com, and I'm also an Ableton Live Certified Trainer. And I'm passionate about teaching worship leaders how to use Ableton Live to lead worship. Today, I'm going to show you how to create a custom split track. Now, this can be really helpful because you might want to make a split track for your band for rehearsal, or maybe it's a split track that you need to make for a video that you guys are doing at your church, or it's a split track that you need to send to your team ahead of time so that they can practice their part, or that they can hear the track ahead of time. So I'm going to show you in Ableton Live how to create your own split track. So what we're going to use is we're going to use Arrangement View. To get to Arrangement View, you can hit the Tab key, or you can click on the little icon in the top right corner that has horizontal lines going across. And we're going to make a split track for You Make Me Brave. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in all of our tracks, and I downloaded these multi-tracks from Loop Community, and I'm going to just bring in the click and drag that into the top, and let's just rename this track by right-clicking it. I'm going to rename this to click. The next track I'm going to bring in is the cues, and let's just bring that in. And notice that when I dropped that in, it created a new track for me. I'm going to rename this and call it cues. And now let's bring in the rest of our instruments. Now, you could bring in everything, but I'm just going to bring in the instruments that I want. So in this case, I'm going to bring in the bass and the drums. And if you want to bring in more than one at a time, you can just hold Command to select. I'm going to bring in the synth and the piano, the perc, and the pad. All right. This is going to be a track without electric guitars. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Let's just see what this sounds like.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, something you have to remember before you start making any edits inside of Ableton Live, you want to make sure that your tracks are actually lined up to the internal grid in Ableton Live. For example, I can tell that this is not lined up to the grid because my click here should be lining up to these grid markers inside of Ableton Live, but they're not. And that's because the grid is currently set to 120 BPM. But You Make Me Brave is at 69. So I'm going to change the grid of Ableton Live to 69, and you'll see everything line up. Notice that all those clicks lined right up to the grid. And you can also double check this by turning on Ableton's metronome and hitting play.
Intro, 2, 3,
and Ableton's
4.
click should line up with your tracks. You want to do that before you start making any edits at all. Okay, so now that we have all of our tracks in here, I could make different customizations. I could turn things up, turn things down. But let's go and do that. We're going to turn up and turn a few things down. So I'm going to hit Tab to go back to Session View. And this gives me a mixer where I can now turn up and turn down different instruments. So let's just say this is a track that I want for my bass player to practice with. So I'm going to make it so the bass line is a little louder than everything else. So I'm going to turn those down.
Verse 2.
And then also, I'm going to actually go ahead and pan everything. So I'm going to turn the click to the left and the cues to the left. That way, if he's not wanting to actually listen to the click and cue, you can just get rid of that channel. So now my tracks are panned. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do a Select All, which is Command A. I'm going to go to File, Export Audio. And I'm going to say export the master, meaning export the master track, which is going to combine all the audio into one file. So I'm going to say export the master. We're going to make a WAV file. If you want, with Live 10 that's coming out, you can use MP3. I'm going to hit export, and I can choose where I save this. We're going to call it You Make Me Brave Split. And now it's going to export that file, and it's going to give me a WAV file that now I can use to send to my team or use for a video or for rehearsal purposes. So that's how you can create a custom split track all within Ableton Live. Have fun.